In life, we are always confronted with this question: what was I born to do? What was I meant to do? And if we don't have the answer, well, we have to search for it, we have to seek it out. And the answer comes from within, from the depths of our hearts. Because anything that anyone else suggests might just be an idea, might be a direction in which you should go based on what they know about you. So your parents or friends, especially close friends, might notice a particular personality trait that you have where they think like, well, you would do pretty well in this line of work or in this kind of career. Perhaps you're naturally a very creative person, and so your friends might say here and there, or your family, like, hey, you should pursue this, or you should do something with your creativity. In other cases, it might be something totally else, like, hey, you should pursue being a psychologist, a psychiatrist. Funny enough, that's one I heard when growing up. Well, obviously by now I didn't end up as a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm just more of a person that talks about stuff from a very spiritual angle, based from my own personal experiences throughout life so far, which I feel like might be of some use to someone out there. So I simply decided to pursue that direction instead. That comes the most natural to me. Because I also knew that there is a certain risk about psychology overall, where you have to go through a rigorous study, universities, etc., where they teach you a certain angle on how to approach issues concerning the mind. And they can be very useful, they can be very helpful, of course, but at the same time they also might box your mind in and limit it and blocking the spiritual from view, which is something that sadly is still kind of the issue in the overall healthcare system, is that they're trying to treat symptoms mostly, but not really the cause, which is ultimately the consciousness of the individual itself. And it's very abstract and does take some actual spiritual awareness in order to address that area, in order to finally and hopefully improve our lives for the better. But ultimately, there's also this tendency for us as humans to stress out about what we are trying to pursue. So you might have a dream, you might know someone that has a dream, but you can hear that they're constantly somehow stressed and worried about results, about what they want to achieve, and they hope they will achieve it, but at the same time they're worried, well, maybe it won't work out for me, maybe it's not possible, but at the same time I feel like I want to achieve it, and there's this constant conflict going on, which is what I call kind of like a paradox, because ultimately the way out of this mental mess is to learn not to worry at all about what you are doing. But yet there's a part of us that wants to constantly worry, and I've noticed this myself for many years, which actually finally is calming down by now, starting this year. Imagine that, for many years, even though I was doing the videos, I still suffered from it to a certain extent. Where in my personal case, I also could worry when I would start this YouTube channel, for example, and then worry about, well, will it reach people? And if I don't reach anyone, if it reaches 0 people, what's the point of doing the videos? You might start to think in your head, and you would obviously start to feel kind of demoralized and potentially less motivated to really do something. And that is kind of the big lesson here, is that the more calm we can keep the mind, the more calm we can keep ourselves, the easier it actually becomes to act upon your real purpose in life. So if you've figured it out, but still have these conflicts going on in your head, these doubts and worries about whether you can achieve something with what you're passionate about or not, really try to take a step back and think for yourself, am I actually approaching this from a calm state of mind? Literally, that's all you need to do, because when the mind is calm, you can come up with clear ideas and clear ways of going about your business. But when it is stressed, when it is anxious, you obviously can't think as clearly, as straight. And another element to all of this is that you should try to notice within yourself, literally throughout your body, whether what you're trying to do is coming from a place of anxiety or not. You see, you can be anxious in your gut, and that anxiety can make you feel like, oh, I need to do something, oh, I should do something. But actually, that anxiety should first calm down. You should first try to relax, let it all go, just calm down. Let's get things straight first and foremost. Everything here that I experience, that you experience, is temporary. So why am I taking it this serious? This is my conclusion so far, and I'm assuming it's going to become more in depth over the years as I grow in wisdom, hopefully, of course, where I think many of the things we go through in life we shouldn't even take serious to begin with. And initially to some that sounds like, oh, that sounds bad, that sounds weird, that sounds not smart to do. But see, that's the paradox. It's like the more serious you take your life, the more stress it actually originates within you. But if you can first keep the foundation straight, I'm here temporary, this is a temporary journey. Therefore, after I'm gone, after I pass away, then these stresses I had also fall away. I would be able to realize that, oh, none of this actually mattered. All this stress about pursuing my dreams, my goals in life, they were self-made. I created them. They weren't necessary. And once you realize this foundation, you can then relax more concerning your own goals and dreams and actually pursue them calmly with the literal attitude that if it is meant to reach a lot of people for whatever reason, then that's cool. And if it is meant not to reach a lot of people, then that's cool too. Because if it wasn't meant to reach a lot of people in particular, the amazing part is that as you keep pursuing it anyway, your mind, your soul will guide you towards the right activities for you to express your passion overall. See, what you're passionate about right now in this moment of time, if you're planning on pursuing it, or if you know someone that wants to pursue it, they might have a particular angle through which they think they have to approach this passion, through which they can express it. So for me, again, a personal example would be, initially, years ago, I started out pursuing filmmaking because I thought this is my main passion. Then, as the years went by, that kind of changed around towards pursuing a music career, producing music for many, many years. And as I was producing the music, I also felt passionate about writing books, mostly non-fiction, but I have written at least fictional stuff. However, I never released it. I kept it to myself, mostly with the idea of wanting to turn it into a film, perhaps. But we're talking about stuff that happened like 10 years ago concerning the fictional writing, at least. The non-fictional that has been going on for years, and even for this video you could say, well, a lot of the stuff I share is based on my writing. But the point being, what I thought I was passionate about actually changed around. But there was a main theme in here, and the main theme I concluded for myself was to express myself creatively, to somehow reach humanity and give them something to think about that might actually help improve their lives. So you could do that through film, of course. You could make very inspirational movies with stories that really touch the heart, or you can do it with music, of course, that really touch the heart. And you can do it with non-fictional books that touch the heart. You can do it with YouTube videos as well that can touch people's hearts, people's lives, so that they can somehow improve it, maybe a little bit or maybe to a great extent. But that's what I mean. My passion remained the same, but the way I approached it did change around as I matured and kind of relaxed more into this process where I was like, I want to do something that I feel is valuable with my time. But then if we go way back to 2006, for example, I had no idea what direction it would take me. It took me into all kinds of directions that, looking back on it, I really don't regret I went through. I'm glad I went through those experiences because they actually gave me more confidence and determination on doing my own thing, and keeping in mind that creating for me, whatever it is, something that is left behind basically, even if I'm gone, is absolutely interesting. can be very useful and powerful and beautiful in its own way. So that is what I mean, that some people, and perhaps you yourself, might have an initial thought of this is how I should express my passion, but it might take you in a totally different direction, especially if it doesn't seem to work out the way you want it to. Because obviously, if I were to become a filmmaker successful right away, perhaps I would never have made the YouTube videos I'm doing right now, wrote the books I've written so far, because I would be too busy making films. Well, of course, if that was what was meant to be, then I'm sure I would be passionate about it day and night. And that's what I mean with this attitude. When you go for your dreams, if you can have the attitude, if it's meant to reach a lot of people, that's cool. If it's not meant to reach a lot of people, that's cool also, because at least I'm doing something I'm passionate about. You see, in a way, that's a paradox to the ego and mind, because part of us wants to worry a lot about the results. And it's like, I need to make sure that I reach a certain amount of people, or, I need to make sure I end up in Hollywood or whatever as a filmmaker or as a musician. I need to make sure I reach up on those massive music festivals, make hundreds of thousands of dollars perhaps a night. I mean, yeah, if you end up there, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool also, because if your dream does not seem to work out for you, as long as you remain calm in spirit, in soul, then you will still attract the way for you in order to express what you're passionate about. So whatever it is that you want can come through the gateway of calmness, of inner serenity. Because the more calm you are, the more clearly you can think about things. The more anxious you become, the more distorted and chaotic your thinking can become. And that is the issue for most people. And then that issue triggers a lot of tendencies to want to, get onto medication or start drinking alcohol, like I've done for so many years in huge amounts, or any other drug you can find that people can be addicted to, or activity. They can be addicted to all kinds of stuff, but it's mostly to try to escape how they actually feel, to escape some kind of anxiety or depression that is underlying all these activities, these addictions, ultimately. You see, that's where it can lead you if you don't learn to calm yourself properly and stay in that calmness at all costs. Because the mind and ego want to worry about the results, but spirit, the infinite awareness that you really are, knows there's nothing to worry about. You are already one with creation, and it's ultimately the mind and ego that kind of fancy being famous and rich and having, the ability to buy whatever you want. And, people might admire you and be like, whoa, look at this person. He's so rich. Whoa, they're so successful, so famous. They have such big house, such awesome cars. You see, all these things are fine to have if you can pursue them and buy them from a calm state of mind with zero egoic intent behind it. Really look around. You see so many people, they are actually feeding their own egos. They're like full of themselves, as you would say. They want to show off constantly through social media how great their lives are. But ultimately, the joke in a weird way is that everything that these people have, they're going to lose anyway. The moment they pass away, it's all gone. It's going to be left behind for someone else to enjoy. So this is why it's like a paradox, because you can pursue all these things. If that's what you want, you should go for it. Obviously, I'm not saying you should not go for success and great wealth, etc. If that is really what you're called upon to pursue from the depths of your own soul. You see, and what you're meant to pursue from the depths of your own being can only be grasped if your mind is calm overall. That's what I'm trying to get at here. That if you learn to not worry and stress over the things you want to achieve during this lifetime, then it becomes way easier to achieve the things that you want. As weird as it sounds initially, because in some way we're so trained and focused on the results that we forget to remain calm. So that also showed in my personal life, in the way that I would pursue my YouTube videos, for example, but then I would constantly worry literally about views, subscriber numbers, likes, dislikes, good comments, bad comments. I mean, it's crazy This all infects my ability to fully focus on expressing what I'm passionate about as an individual. And that is the same for you. There will be elements to your dream, to your goal, to what you're passionate about that might not be so pleasant. But as long as you remain calm overall, it will be way easier to deal with stuff that will be unpleasant. If you're not calm, these unpleasant things concerning the pursuit of your dreams, your passions, might drag you down way further than they have to. This is what I learned after many years of doing it the wrong way. That's kind of interesting, right? Because this channel, I'm definitely not some guy that has all the answers or that knows the best way to do everything in life. Of course not. So I also like to just at times share my own struggles during this journey, and this was one of them. And it caused me to become a very, very extreme alcoholic for many years. But now, as I said, we're already 2 months sober this start of this year. And we keep going. I keep going, and this calmness that I notice when I'm sober, I've noticed this before when I tried to be sober in the past, but now I'm more serious. I learned more lessons along the way about the addiction itself. I realized this calmness is very important for me as well, because it is from this calm state of mind that I can actually clearly do this work, in my case. So there's no hangovers or other withdrawal symptoms getting in the way. It's so simple, so logical as well. But yet, for some reason, I didn't listen to that insight when it first came to me. And that was due to me also being stuck in my mind, in my ego to a certain extent. Where the ego and mind like to keep worrying about things physically speaking, about what people say, about how much money you make, about how much people you reach. That is that part of us that likes to attach itself to things of this world. And this is why the ancients in their writings, especially in Hinduism and Buddhism, they said that we should be non-attached. We should have zero attachment to our own work. Which again sounds like this paradox. Well, if I'm not attached, how can I do good work? Well, you have to see the bigger picture. By not being attached, you also are able to keep your mind calm. And as you keep your mind calm, you can think clearly. And as you think clearly, you can also act effectively on your actual dream. You see, this is what I'm trying to get at with this video. So that hopefully you or anyone else that struggles with this can perhaps find a better way of going about their own dreams and goals in life. Because as an individual, you yourself have something unique to share with the world. And this uniqueness should be allowed by yourself to be expressed. And as long as you indulge in all these anxious thoughts and worries, your own uniqueness is being suppressed or distorted. You can't express it as easily. Yet you deserve that. That's why you are here. To express your own uniqueness. And it's not just while you are here, it's throughout all of eternity. You have that freedom. Perhaps right now you don't understand or believe in that, but that's just my view on it. That's my experience so far on it, on what I've experienced being inside of this three-dimensional space and also being in other dimensions of existence itself, where I came to the conclusion for myself. Yeah, ultimately it's about me daring to express my own uniqueness, to embrace that fully, and to be a true, free child of God, you could say, if you want to use that term. Child of the universe, whatever. But that's ultimately also your destiny. And again, the only way to find that destiny, to perceive it within yourself, is to become as calm as possible on a daily basis and to listen to your heart, to listen to what you feel like is important to express and pursue while you are on this planet for now, and then ultimately after the grave as well. You start to keep listening to your heart. What do I feel I should be doing? And that place coming from the heart, from a place of calmness, is going to be so wonderful and so well, I wanted to say easy. Of course, life isn't easy, but it's going to bring you such ease that you're able to just pursue your own dreams, your passions calmly every single day. Of course, there will be days of perhaps inactivity, but what I've noticed, at least in my case, that means that in those days of supposed inactivity, mentally stuff is still happening, where a new idea might be forming inside my consciousness. And then eventually I'm going to act on that idea, to write about it, to give it expression through a video, so that, again, it's something that I want to leave behind for humanity overall. This is why we want to understand that you don't have to stress about anything. That's the interesting part. You don't have to stress. Not really. You might be desperate though for money or something, and you desperately want what you're passionate about to bring you the money. But again, the only way to pursue such a thing properly is from a calm state of mind, so that you can perceive the best ways to do stuff that could generate money with what you're passionate about, if that is what you need. But if that's not what you need, if that's not what you're worried about, then you just want to simply be calm and let your heart guide you on these matters. And the gateway to the heart gets blocked off by the anxiety of the mind. What do you think about that one? The gateway to your heart, to the wisdom of your heart, gets blocked by the anxiety of your mind and ego. This is why we want to be calm and, in a way, kind of indifferent about our goals, where it's like, if it's meant to reach a lot of people, that's cool. If it's not meant to reach a lot of people, that's cool too. I know my heart will guide me on what I should do then, if that is the case. You see the power? There's a real power behind this attitude. And I hope you'll contemplate it for yourself, because it can make your life so much easier and more pleasurable, in spite of all the ups and downs that we will still be confronted with.